I lost 9 pounds in 30 days, but honestly, that's not even the part that surprised me. 30 days. Every single meal planned out by an actual registered nutritionist. No cheat days, no easy swaps, just the real thing, exactly what she gives her paying clients. And somewhere around day 21, something shifted, something I didn't expect, and something most diet videos never talk about. I'm going to get to that, but first let me show you how this whole thing started. Let me be real with you about where I was before this. My diet was not great. I was skipping breakfast most days and running on coffee until noon. I was eating whatever was fast and close by, and I kept telling myself I'd fix it eventually. You know how that goes. The thing is, I wasn't unhealthy in an obvious way. I wasn't eating terribly every single day. But I was tired. Like always tired. That low-grade kind of tired you start to think is just normal. That's just who you are now. So I decided to actually do something about it, and I hired a registered dietitian, a real one. I told her, give me the exact plan, no softening it, no easy modifications. She looked at me for a second, and then she sent me a spreadsheet, 36 rows, color-coded with a tab for grocery lists. The rules were actually pretty simple on paper. 3 things: eat whole foods as much as possible, hit a protein target every day, and cut out added sugar. No weird supplements, no cutting entire food groups, just those 3 things consistently for 30 days. Simple on paper, not simple in practice. Before we get into the daily stuff, I want to share something she said at the very beginning that kind of reframed everything for me. She said most people approach eating like it's a punishment, like every healthy meal is something you're suffering through to earn something later. She said the goal was to flip that completely and to start seeing food as information, every meal a message to your body about what it should be doing. I didn't fully get that on day 1, but I kept coming back to it. That idea of food as information sounds a little abstract at first, but by week 3, I understood it in a way I couldn't have explained on day 1. Okay, week 1. Day 1, I spent about 2 hours in the kitchen the night before prepping meals for the next day. 2 hours. I don't think I had ever done that. I'm someone who considers opening a bag of chips to be meal prep. So, this was already a shift. By day 3, I had a headache. Not a bad one, but it was there. I looked it up, and apparently it's pretty common when you cut sugar, suddenly. Your body is used to getting a quick hit of glucose throughout the day, and when you take that away, it throws a small fit. I had no idea my body was that dependent on it. That was the first real moment where I thought, okay, something's actually going on here. Day 5 was the hardest day of the first week. I was scrolling my phone, and an ad for pizza came up, and I just sat there staring at it for way too long. That's when I realized this wasn't just about food. It was about how much of my day was organized around the idea of eating whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. Taking that away felt weirdly personal, but I stayed with it. I didn't order the pizza. By the end of week 1, I wasn't feeling dramatically different, but I was sleeping a little heavier. I noticed I wasn't getting hungry as randomly throughout the day, like the 2 p.m. snack craving that used to hit me had kind of faded. Small thing, but I noticed it. Week 2 is where things actually started to get that interesting. And I don't mean that in the motivational video way. I mean something genuinely unexpected happened, and I want to walk you through it exactly as it happened. Day 10, I woke up before my alarm. If you know me, you know that does not happen. I am not a morning person. I have never been a morning person. I set 3 alarms, and I still check my phone like I'm negotiating with it. But on day 10, I was just awake, and not the anxious, I forgot something important kind of awake, just ready and alert. I mentioned it to the nutritionist, and she said it's actually pretty well documented. She called it metabolic adaptation. Basically, once your body stops running on processed sugar and starts using whole food fuel more efficiently, your energy regulation stabilizes. You stop having the spikes and crashes, your sleep becomes more restorative, and you start waking up feeling like you actually rested. That explanation made sense, but what I felt was simpler than that. It just felt like my body was working better. Something else happened in week 2 that I want to talk about: the grocery bill. Because I assumed, like a lot of people assume, that eating this way was going to be expensive, and I want to push back on that because it wasn't. The Nutritionist built the plan around a few staples that you buy in bulk. Things like brown rice, eggs, frozen vegetables, canned legumes, oats. Nothing fancy. Nothing from a specialty store. And my weekly grocery bill actually came in lower than what I was spending on a mix of groceries and takeout before. That surprised me. Frozen vegetables, by the way, are just as nutritious as fresh. I asked her about it specifically. She said the freezing process locks in nutrients right after harvest, and in some cases they are actually better than fresh produce that has been sitting on a shelf. Small thing, but it changed how I shopped. By week 3, people around me started noticing. Not in the dramatic way you see in transformation videos. Nobody gasped or made a big deal of it. It was more subtle than that. A friend said I looked like I was getting more sleep. My sister asked if I'd done something different with my skin. I hadn't. I was just eating differently. The 3 p.m. energy crash, the one that used to hit me like a wall every single afternoon, was gone. I didn't realize how much of my day I had been building around that crash until it disappeared. I used to schedule nothing important after 3. I'd save easy tasks for then, or just scroll my phone for 20 minutes, waiting to feel human again. Week 3, it just wasn't there anymore. Around day 18, I also noticed something happening with my cravings, and this one genuinely surprised me. I stopped wanting the junk food. Not because I was white-knuckling it, not because I was telling myself no. I just didn't really want it. The nutritionist had mentioned this might happen. She said when your gut microbiome starts shifting, when the balance of bacteria in your digestive system changes, your actual cravings shift with it. Your body starts asking for different things. I want to be honest here. I didn't fully believe that when she told me. It sounded like something you say to motivate someone. But standing in that grocery store aisle on day 18, genuinely uninterested in chips, I believed it. Week 4 felt less like a challenge and more like a new normal. I wasn't thinking about the plan as much. I'd just reach for the right things, cook without resenting it. That shift from I have to do this to this is just what I do now was quiet. It didn't announce itself. I only noticed it looking back. Day 30. Here's what the numbers looked like. I lost 9.2 pounds. My resting heart rate dropped by 8 beats per minute, which my doctor said was a meaningful change, not just noise. My average sleep score, tracked on my watch, went from 64 to 81 over the 30 days. And the focus thing, I started finishing tasks I had been putting off for weeks. Not because I suddenly had more willpower. I think I just finally had the fuel to actually use my brain properly. But here's the number I want to sit with for a second. 30 days. That's all this was. Not a year, not a complete life overhaul. 30 days of 3 consistent changes. Whole foods, protein, no added sugar. And the results weren't small. I keep thinking about how many times I told myself I didn't have time for this, or that it was too complicated, or that I'd start next month. And I think about the version of me from day 1, exhausted and running on caffeine, and I genuinely wish I could go back and just start sooner. Okay? I said at the beginning there was something I didn't expect, something that wasn't about weight or sleep or energy levels. This is it. My anxiety got quieter. I'm someone who has had low-grade background anxiety for most of my adult life. Nothing dramatic, not the kind that stops you from functioning. Just this constant low hum underneath everything. A tension that I had kind of accepted as part of my personality. Like, that's just how I am. That's just how my brain works. Around day 21, I noticed it was less. Not gone, but noticeably less. I was sitting down to work and the usual background noise wasn't as loud. I wasn't bracing for things the way I normally do. I felt steadier. I mentioned it to the nutritionist almost as an aside, not expecting much. And she sent me 3 studies on something called the gut-brain axis, the direct communication pathway between your digestive system and your brain. Turns out the gut produces a significant amount of the body's serotonin. When you change what you're feeding your gut, you can genuinely change how your brain feels. The science is real. It's not fringe. It's just not talked about in diet videos because it's harder to show in a before and after photo. I'm telling you this because I think a lot of people watching this are carrying something similar, that low-level tension that you've normalized. And nobody told you that what you eat every day might be making it louder. It's worth knowing. I promised you the one thing no nutritionist tells you. And here it is. The food isn't the hard part. The hard part is the story you're telling yourself about who you are. Before this challenge, I used to say, sometimes out loud, sometimes just in my head, I'm just not a healthy person, like it was a fixed fact about me. And that story made every good choice feel like an exception, and every bad choice feel like proof. The real shift happened when I stopped treating this like a 30-day challenge and started treating it like evidence of who I actually am. Every meal I made on plan wasn't me following a diet. It was me being someone who takes care of themselves. That's a different thing entirely. The nutritionist didn't tell me that. Nobody tells you that. But it was the thing that made everything else work. Once the identity shifted, the food was actually the easy part. If any part of this landed for you, hit the like button. It takes 1 second, and it genuinely helps this video reach more people who might need to hear it. And I'd love to know. Drop it in the comments. What's one food habit you know you want to change? Just one. Not a whole plan, not a resolution, just one thing. I read everything down there, and sometimes those comments turn into my next video. I've linked the exact meal plan template the nutritionist gave me in the description, completely free. It's the actual spreadsheet, all 36 rows. You can adapt it to whatever your situation is. Next week, I'm doing something that is, honestly, harder than this. I'm not going to say what it is yet, but if you're subscribed, you'll find out first. See you then. Thanks for watching True Health Tales. If this helped you, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss the next truth.